welcome to Cooking with Saucy Sean from Saucy Sean's Fine Eats. Here we have for you today something that we've done before, but a little bit different because we're going to be a little bit different today. I'm traveling for my other job, which is management consultant, and I am in Kennesaw, Georgia right now. Kennesaw is just north of Marietta, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. There's probably something in between there like Smyrna. But my client, they're in Marietta, and there's a big Braves game going on this weekend, and the hotel I normally staying down there was booked up for the weekend, so I ended up here in Kennesaw, which is a nice little place. And got another little hotel room, another little suite, another little kitchen, and I'm going to make some cinnamon buns to take into the office tomorrow for these guys. And so I'm going to do that here with the bits and pieces I've been able to find around. Some stuff's from the hotel. I've got stuff I bring with me. Like a couple trips back, I bought my own cast iron frying pan because we all know cast iron's the best frying pans. And a couple of bowls and stuff. And let's see if we can make some decent cinnamon buns here with the minimum amount of fuss. So one cool fact about Kennesaw, Georgia. Look at the t-shirt. What's it say? It's the law in Kennesaw. The law in Kennesaw is that the head of each household must have a firearm. Now, I'm sitting in the hotel room. I don't think I qualify, but you never know. So I've got here in this bowl, I've got 4 cups of warm water, my standard bun recipe, a couple of teaspoons of salt, 1/4 cup of oil, 1/4 cup of sugar. I didn't want to buy a thing of sugar just to end up throwing it out, so I'm just using the brown sugar, which is what I'll use inside the cinnamon rolls. Now I've got to get my 2 tablespoons of yeast, and I didn't want to buy a whole big thing of it, so I just bought some packages, and I have no idea how much is in each of these. I didn't even read them when I picked them up. It's highly active instant yeast. It's just whatever. It's dry active yeast. So I'm just going to open one up here and try and measure how much is actually in it to see if it's going to be good enough. Let's see what happens here. So I open that up. Well, that's shy. Oh, look, there's more in there. That's shy of a tablespoon, but it's pretty darn close. So normally I would use 2 tablespoons for about 2 dozen cinnamon rolls. So I'm going to use 2 packages of this. Now it's instant yeast. It needs no proofing and all that. Yeah, I don't believe it when I see stuff like that. So we're just going to mix it in here. See how it looks. See if it's coming to life with the other ingredients. You'll find my the full recipe is actually already done for these. This is kind of a fun little thing. Wait till you see what I use for a rolling pin tonight. So, I want to let that just make sure that comes to life. I don't trust these little packages of yeast. Years and years ago when I tried using them, I never had success. It just never worked out for me. I don't know why. It just always seemed to, the yeast was deadish, and that's not fun when you put everything together and you mix it all up and then you find out it's not going to rise because the yeast was garbage already. Probably shouldn't have put that spoon away. One of the problems I have here is I don't have a decent spoon. This is kind of the utensils you get in this hotel. That spoon would mix it a bit, actually. I'm going to give it a try. This hotel room had knives, forks, one little knife. Here's the knife it has. I only get 1 knife. Can opener, flipper, bottle opener. Not even a cork. Oh, yeah, there is a corkscrew. Oh, I gotta have a corkscrew. A measuring cup. Measuring spoons. That was great, but I got that measuring cup going already, so with wet stuff, so I didn't want to use it for the flour. So a dollar store gave me a set of measuring cups for $1. $1. So you can see here, the yeast is starting to come to life, so I'm going to call it good. I'm going to start by throwing about 4 cups of all-purpose flour in there. 1 cup. 2 cups. These are cheap measuring cups. 3 cups, 4 cups. And I'm just going to take it up to 6 right away just because I want to get this done tonight. 5 cups. 6 cups. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. The spoon is really bendy too. These bowls I paid $2 for. They supposedly have mixing bowls you can borrow, but I didn't know how big they'd be or anything, so I thought, well, let's just pick up a couple. So I keep stuff for when I come back down. I keep it at the office, and I just pick it up. That way I don't have to eat at hotels all the time when I'm traveling. It's a lot healthier to not eat at the hotels. That's 6, that's 7 cups. That's 8 cups. I didn't eat in the hotels. I mean, not eating at restaurants all the time. I mean, you eat at restaurants all the time. You're going to be bigger than me, let me tell you. So we got 8 cups now. I'm just going to start mixing this by hand because it's going to be too sticky for the spoon. The hotel room here even has a dishwasher, which is nice. It's got a little mini stove. It's about half the size of a normal stove, but it does still have an oven, which is really kind of cool. A lot of history down here, you know. You start looking around. It's the Civil War history and stuff. There's just so much of it. It's kind of a cool area to be in. Just about 5 minutes from this hotel is Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. So Kennesaw Mountain is like the tallest hill around. From the top of it, I'm from Alberta, remember? It's actually just like a foothill. Not even, it's really not high. But from the top of it, you can see down to Atlanta, right into Atlanta. So it was a big deal during the Civil War for the North to capture that mountain. There's big fights around it. You're driving around. It's really amazing the information they have on records about who fought where, what units fought, how many soldiers from both sides, you know, died, and a lot of times who they were. It's just actually really impressive when I think about the record keeping that they did and that they maintained, and it was all long before the computer age, obviously. Just impressive that they were able to maintain such records, and when you consider some of the distances these soldiers from both sides had to travel, and the supply lines and everything, it's really amazing how they did it. I mean, our generation, I think, would not be able to do that. We're too used to our creature comforts. And we're too used to the automobile and all that stuff. It's impressive, let me tell you. I was hoping to go to a museum today. In Kennesaw, they've got a museum with a famous steam locomotive. I can't remember why it's famous. It's called the General. But it turned out it's closed. It's Sunday. You know how it is. Not everything's open all the time. But I did find, when I was looking for, sites and stuff in Kennesaw, there's this store down there up in downtown. I can't remember the name of it. It's, I can't remember the name of it now. But it's like a Civil War surplus store, they call it. It's just hilarious. You go in and there's this narrow kind of room, probably about 20 feet across or so, and there's books and crud everywhere. There's 2 old guys sitting a little ways in. Turns out one of them's 90. I guess it's his store. 90 years old. Big beard. The other guy was like 71. You got to pay $0.25 to get into the kind of museum-y part, but I like to say it's not really a museum. Most stuff's for sale, and it's where history's real. Well, it's not like they have a lot of displays and stuff, but it's definitely not your politically correct place to be, let me tell you. It was kind of funny. But really nice guys, really good time. So I got my dough. It's a little bit sticky. I could knead it. Add a little bit more flour. Could knead it a bit more. I'm going to put it into another bowl over here with oil in it already. Let it rise for about an hour. And then you guys will get to see how I roll that out into these amazing cinnamon rolls without a rolling pin. We're going to do things, let's say, a bit different. I got brown sugar in the dough instead of white sugar. I bought both brown and dark, light and dark brown sugar. So we're going to give that a try in the center. Got lots of butter. Got to buy this stuff, so might as well use it up and maybe make it a little bit more saucy than normal, because I'm Saucy Sean. Anyways, I feel like I've done about enough kneading. You can knead it a bit longer, get it a bit more nice, but this will do. I'm just going to take it, bring it over to this bowl. I've got eighth of a cup of oil or so in it. Just roll it in there, flip it around so it's all covered. That way it won't get hard. You can cover it with some saran wrap or a tea towel if you like, lightly. And so let it rise. It's going to be just peeking over that bowl. When it's done rising, then we'll make the rolls. Hello and welcome back. Here we are. We got our dough. It's risen fairly well. I mean, I could leave it a bit longer, but I want to get on with stuff. I got a few other things to do. So we're going to turn this into cinnamon rolls. Now, what I've done here is I didn't measure it tonight because you don't always need to. I do have a video where all the measurements are there, but not this one. So this is some light brown sugar. What did I get here? I got some Kroger light brown sugar. I got some Kroger dark brown sugar. For those of you who don't know, Kroger is a grocery store chain in the US of A. I put some cinnamon in there, which I happened to pick up at Costco. I got the usual Costco cinnamon, mixed light and dark brown sugar cinnamon. That's all ready to go. Now, this is kind of a cool thing. For those of you of the younger generation that may watch these videos, and you're Canadian, you know that when we buy butter, we buy a pound of butter. Oh, look, it says butter right there. And does it say butter right? Oh, I think it does. Yep, look at that. And we get one big block of butter, which is equal to 2 cups of butter, just so you know. Down here in the good old US of A, you actually get sticks of butter. So if anyone ever says, hey, I need a stick of butter, well, we don't get those in Canada unless you buy the really fancy frou-frou butter, which actually this is. This is organic sweet cream butter from that good old place called Whole Foods, because it was the first store I went to. The other stuff I have isn't. A stick of butter is equal to 1/2 cup of butter. 4 sticks of butter equals a pound of butter, which is 2 cups. So it's kind of cool that we don't get sticks. So I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to take some dough out. It's actually surprising it's not cold in here, but this dough is actually kind of cool. As in the temperature, not as in, whoa, that's cool. So I'm going to put that over here. Now, I said earlier, I kind of I didn't mess up. I didn't really want to spend the money on a rolling pin. What I did is I got a can of Mountain Dew Fuel, Mountain Dew. I've washed it really well. It's a big can. It's not open. It's full. I'm just going to use that like a rolling pin. I had to do this once for a cup car rally. I was making cinnamon buns, and I'd taken everything I needed. It was in Acme at the community hall, and I forgot a rolling pin. And surprisingly enough, there was not a rolling pin to be found in that community hall kitchen. So I'm just going to roll this out about 1/4 inch or so, same as normal. Kind of rectangular. The more rectangular it is, the easier it'll be. I'm going to grab a stick of butter. I'm going to really over butter it again. This time I've got better measurements somewhere, but today is my day to go. Let's just have some fun. I picked up some other butter at Kroger last night. And this is kind of interesting. So this stuff has been sitting out just as long. And look, kind of firm, kind of just mush. It's really weird. So the two different styles of butter, totally different texture, feel, different melt coefficient. It's kind of interesting. Wonder which one's more real, the organic stuff or the cheap Kroger butter. I bet on the organics, a bit more natural. So there we go. We got that. We're going to grab our cinnamon sugar mix. We're going to liberally apply that to the top of the butter mix. And this is liberal in the positive sense. It's not in the political sense, because we don't want to go down that political liberal road. Unless you're a liberal, in which case, well, I'm sorry. So we're going to roll this up lightly. You don't want to roll it tight, because if you roll it tight, you're going to end up with, they're not going to expand properly. I really do have very limited kitchen space here, as you may have noticed. So I'm going to bring just, I bought some foil pans because I want to be able to take them with me tomorrow when I go into the office. I'm going to use a knife and just gently cut these down into like 1.5 inch rounds. I'm not worried about the countertop with this knife because it's a cheap $1 Dollar Tree knife. $1. Yeah. Welcome to the craziness. I stopped at a Dollar General today. Never been to one of them before. And even the dollar store. Man, with all the supply chain stuff, those shelves are getting empty. I'm thinking, and maybe let me know in the comments below, I'm thinking of maybe trying to do a series on things I can cook just from Dollar Tree. I don't know about you, but it sounds interesting to me. What can I actually make just by going into a Dollar Tree and buying all my ingredients? If you're not used to a Dollar Tree, it's like Dollarama. Everything is $1. So there we have it, folks. I've got my first dozen. I'm just going to quickly go through and make my second dozen, and we'll see if we have to fit any more in anywhere. So hang on, let's see what happens. But the rolling pin idea, it did work, didn't it? Yeah. It's just kind of weird. Some of you are going, you did what? I'm going, it's okay. You know what? As long as you clean it, it's not going to kill you. And even if it kills you, you can still eat it, because you're not going to die right away. It'll happen later. I'll probably get a little bit more than a dozen out of this one, judging by what I got out of that last batch. So I may have to squish them in a bit more, or I may have to do a third pan, but I'm prepared for that. After we get these all rolled out into the pans, we're going to let them rise for about another hour till they're about doubled in bulk. Then we throw them in a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Kind of want to just judge how they look. Make sure they're nice golden brown. They're not burnt, but they're not raw. You don't want them raw. Raw dough, unless it's cookie dough, is not so good now, is it? By the way, when I'm filming this, it's Halloween. It is literally October 31st, and it's weird being somewhere for Halloween where it's not snowing. Those of you in Calgary know what I'm talking about, because it snowed again up there, from what I hear. So, yeah, it's been raining all week, and it turned sunny this afternoon, just in time for the trick-or-treaters. Go figure. God must love Atlanta more or something, I don't know. Okay, that was a joke, folks. No need to get upset. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to laugh. As I said, I'm being just really generous with everything tonight. I'm not trying to save money or cut corners or do camp cooking where, oh no, is too much. It's going to cost us an extra 2 cents on a cinnamon roll. I don't care. I want to make some good ones. I want them to be extra sugary and saucy for tomorrow. Just because these poor people have never had my cooking like this before. So they got to have something to remember me by. Yeah, this is just the fun of staying in a place with a kitchenette. You can do these extra things. You can bring your own stuff. You can make your own meals. I went out for lunch today, but I'm not going out for supper. I wanted some Indian. There's the Indian buffet right behind us. But yeah, I've got some hamburgers in the fridge. I've got some ham in the fridge. I got all sorts of food here I can eat that's a lot cheaper than, a lot healthier than going to a restaurant. I like to take these little end pieces and just squish them down and stick them in the middle between others, because that way no one really misses out on anything. There we have it. Now we just let them, I say, rise about an hour, then throw them in the oven. Talk to you in a little while. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes or so, and these are close enough. They're spreading out, they're rising. The oven's nice and warm, so I'm just going to toss them in. 350 degrees. Because it's a strange oven, I'll probably do them in 2 batches, about between 20 and 25 minutes each. I'll see how they come out. Well, here we have them. 28 cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, whatever you want to call them. All done in the comfort of my little mini hotel room kitchen. Not bad. Doesn't take long to do. Little disappointment they didn't brown up as much as I normally like, but I had this one in for 35 minutes, this one in for 30. I think they're going to taste just fine. Remember, even if they're not perfect, you can still eat it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. As always, please leave comments and questions below, and like, share, subscribe. It really helps. Really trying to build up my fan base. Hopefully we can get better, and tell me what kind of videos you want to see, because there's so many choices we have and so many roads we can go down. So thanks for watching. This is Saucy Sean saying have a great night and be safe out there.